is uncensored. And what uncensored is freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. Say anything you want, talk about anything you want. This is your time, get up, walk around. And the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with a learning disability, yeah, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities or disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. I keep going back and forth. Should I use my brand as the talk show name? Should I keep the uncensored part? And see what happens. But that's a good subject starting off. What can you tell us? What's your honest opinion? Do you think I should keep the name uncensored, or does it really matter?
It depends if you just want to do this or if you want to branch out to other things. I like the idea of keeping both. It's your name as your brand, and then this specific type of interview as uncensored. So Keith Andrew Network brings you uncensored.
You're right. I probably just keep it like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, starting off, if people want to watch our first interview, I think your new number is about, I don't know, like number 9 or something. It will be in the description, link below. So
Great, look below.
That's why you didn't down low.
Right.
Now, for people who want to know why it's a new video quality and why I'm catching up with people from season 1, I don't have my camera on me. I should, but basically, I recorded everything from my phone. So here's my hands, the camera, here's the phone. I recorded everything that the camera saw. That was season 1. And I was like, okay, that's great and everything, but it looks kind of crappy. So season 2, I recorded it. I upgraded. I went to camera to the computer screen. And that was a big improvement, but it's kind of like, okay, still not good. People are saying to me, why don't you use Skype Recorder? It's so good. In season 3, I did do Skype Recorder. So that's what we're doing. So basically, I wanted to get everyone who I interviewed the first time, do it over as a catch-up interview by what you're doing, like a year and a half later, and compare it. This is the first time when we met, and this is a year and a half later to the video quality, how it's different.
Right.
So now when the interview's done, it's got to be cut in half. I'm going to be on the right, you're going to be on the left. And it's basically it.
Perfect. Upgrading. I like that.
The reason I didn't do, and you can drink your water if you want, but
cheers.
Right. Don't mind me. I'm kind of I'm trying to get back into the rhythm. I'm still out of it because I was so pissed off. I had to do everything over. I was like, yes, 300 finally. And then I had someone say, do it over. Why? You don't want to get sued, do you? I was like, shit. So I did it over.
It's a good point. You don't want to get sued, but hey, maybe it's a blessing in disguise with the new video quality, and you get to check. I'm glad I get to check in with you again a year and a half later, so there you go.
That's true, and you're building on a friendship.
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, like I said, half hour, 45 minutes every time, say anything you want. And what can you tell us about yourself, hinting towards the first time we talked, for our new listeners?
Yeah, well, I'm an actor in Canada, living in Toronto right now. Since we last talked, I've joined and opened with the original Canadian company of Kinky Boots. So I'm working on that in Toronto right now. We've been here since last year. We started rehearsals in May. And we've been playing since, I guess, the end of June 2015. So I get to walk to work every day from my condo in Toronto, and it's been a blast working on such a great show that is also about changing people's minds about people who they may view as different. So it's amazing to go out and perform that show every night and some afternoons and see people in the audience really be affected by the message we're sending. So it's been nice, and we've been extended a few times, and as of now, we're going until May 15th of this year.
Well, I do have a couple ideas for you after the show if you want to hear them.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you want to hear them now, it's just completely up to you.
Sure, yeah, I'll take them.
Alright, well, I was wondering if it's any possibility. I would love to work with you. Do you think what I'm doing falls under the category of what you're doing?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I would love to be working in the States so I can meet more people, because I've been working in Canada for about 10 years professionally now, so I would love to move to the States. Most of my work falls on the stage, but I'm always open to collaborations or helping people out, or that's why I love doing stuff like this, because the chance to interview and help someone out, and then if you need something, then they'll help you out. It's a nice way to go about living, I think.
No, absolutely. And going on the record, you help me, I help you. And that's all, like I said, you're making a new friend out of it. And that's all what basically, you brought up a good point. It's all about helping each other.
Exactly.
There's a quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go long, go together.
Oh, I like that.
So it's basically what you're saying. Actually, I'm going to ask you a hard-hitting question. Say, hypothetically, well, do you have a publicist or agent? I was going to say hypothetically, but...
Yeah, no, I have an agent.
Alright, so when I first approached you about being a guest on my show, I usually do this at the end, but I'm going to do this in the beginning. Putting you in the hot seat now and go on the record.
Alright.
When I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me? And what was your agent's honest opinion? And after you signed the waiver, that's what everyone's got to do before I even talk to them. Did they think it was a joke, or do you think he's actually doing the right thing for one this time around?
No, I think, well, my first opinion, as soon as I got a message from you the first time around, I was very intrigued, so I wanted to check it out. I checked out some of your other videos just to see, because you do never know when you're in the public eye who anybody can just find an email address and write to you, so right. You don't know. But I was very happy to see that you were doing a great thing with the videos and really wanting to interview people, and like you said, uncensored, so you never know where the interview is going to go. It's not necessarily all the same questions, although they're nice, like, what are you working on now? How did you get there? What the process was like. It's nice to talk with someone whose interest lies in just life and how it's going. And my agent always thinks it's a good idea to help people out in the same way, help each other out, as long as you don't let anything loose that you're not supposed to that could be used against you in the future. If you're working on signing a new contract, you don't talk about that. If you have any skeletons in the closet, which I don't. All my closets are clean.
Well, I don't have skeletons, but I did a lot of stupid things, but I'm a good person. Hey, we're only human, right?
That's right. We're only human, and we're all human. So, we all make mistakes, and we all deserve forgiveness.
That's true.
And to give that to others,
I did a last interview before we talked to you, so I'm not going to complain to you about the negative stuff. We can talk about this some other time. But, basically, like I said, I took all the interviews down. I was so pissed. You were supposed to be episode 301 today.
Right.
But unfortunately, the guy said, yeah, take them down because you don't want someone to use it against you, so it's take a smoking gun, so it's fine, I do it over.
yeah.
But I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize.
No apologies. It's when you put that work in and then you realize someone tells you something that you should have thought of or someone else should have thought of for you, later down the line and all your work has seemingly been for naught, it's frustrating.
That's true.
You know?
Now, you are an actor, correct?
That's right.
Now, for people, like I said, you can go to the link below and they can see our first time. So I'm not trying to ask you different questions. But you do bring up two subjects that I want to run past you. Are you a wrestling fan?
I did enjoy watching wrestling when I was younger, but now I haven't really set aside time to watch much.
Hey, the reason I bring it up is I was watching on the network they have. And, you have the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, you have the CM Punk podcast, or whatever. And I said, yeah, that's fine, have wrestlers interviewing wrestlers. But wouldn't it be, I think I said in a comment, I would be a better announcer than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
And the reason I say that is, who wants to listen to wrestlers interview wrestlers? If you want to do something, why not be different?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm handicapped. I have a learning disability. I have my own talk show.
Yes, there it is.
So, and why not think outside the box? Why not give me a chance? You have to do it differently. Michael Cole does his own weekly thing. He's an announcer.
Right.
He interviews other people who are wrestlers, and it's kind of like, okay, why not be different? You talking about recently WWE was saying you're gonna look into the Special Olympics, maybe bringing up some stars who are disabled to maybe for the development thing, so it looks good.
Yeah.
Hey, what about me?
Yeah, I mean, there's something about having, some wrestlers do interviews because they know the in and outs, but when it's just regular people that, especially a regular person who's even above regular, like you who has your talk show, they have the questions that other people want to hear, Like, what questions do you have to ask people are probably the same questions other non-wrestlers have, right? It would be fascinating. It would be great to
have someone. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, I was just rambling on the same point.
It's Skype, It's Skype, they're like it tunes out, but then no.
Kind of like my brain. Sometimes it just there's a latency effect. It just slows down.
The reason you bring up a good point, you think outside the box. What can I ask that? Okay, these people are on the road 365 days a year, and they have different stories. People I like stories, but you have someone like me who has a disability, who it's still when I become famous, I'm still gotta be in the middle. People are like, well, I'm famous. I only want to be the in. I don't care about the out. Or if you're on the out, when you get in. Basically, I'm gonna be neutral. Yes, I'm gonna be on TV and whatever, but will I still work in retail? Yes. Will I do what you're doing? Yes. Because I'm a normal, hardworking person. I made a promise to myself and to God not to sound religious. I would never change who I am. I'm always got to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to be neutral because you can see the world for what it is. You're seeing it from both point of views.
Yeah.
And when you see it from both 2 points of views, you can also help people at the same time.
Yep, certainly. It can be hard sometimes when you're deep in something to step back and look at the big picture and see both sides. I think I have a problem where I do that too often, where people think I don't make hard decisions, and whenever people are bitching about something to me, I'm always the one to go, yeah, well, look at this, and what about, I'm always playing devil's advocate because it's worth looking at. And then in the end, they may be right, and I'm accepting that, but I just often pose the opposite theory to make sure it's being considered.
Right.
And it's the same thing as, when you become famous, it's easy to get just tunnel vision blocked into that life, and then so with you saying that, no, I'm still gonna work retail, I'm still gonna have, I'm still gonna thank everybody for everything, not expect things. That's a great way to already be aware of that, so you can check in with this interview right here when you said it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always good to be neutral. You can't have your head up your ass, because then I give you a perfect example. Give you a perfect example. Say hypothetically, you had the opportunity to sweep your way to the top. Does that make you a horrible person? It depends how you look at it. I will give you my point of view, and then we see like whose is better.
Exactly.
Stephanie McMahon was single, or Trish Stratus was single. I would go with them because, yes, they have money, number one, and I have a fear of, God forbid, one day my parents aren't going to be here anymore. Besides having a breakdown, I don't know where I'm gonna be, and saying, okay, now will there be a safety net? Okay, you married this good-looking woman, and there's money. Number one, there's a safety net. Number two, you can get established at the same time. But with that being said, yes, you marry in the money, but you shouldn't. Okay, that's good, because that helps you, mentally get on a good note.
Yeah.
However, people misconstrue that and think, oh, well, I'm gonna sweep my way to the top and then use her or use his popularity to create myself and then a persona and have it, be 10 times better, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do better, some whatever bizarre thing. Like Triple H married the boss's daughter, and they're like, oh, he wanted to be in control, and whatever he did, that's his business. But the point is, you have to have a plan. Yes, he marries someone who has money, because you want that safety net. As God forbid something happens, you have something to fall back on. You're not going into it saying, okay, I reached my goal, and then shit all over everyone, bad, because that makes you a horrible person. But if you're doing it to, I know this conversation sounds stupid, but it's basically you're just trying to protect yourself, and then once you're able to protect yourself, then you can give back to other people.
Yeah, exactly. It's my opinion would be a little of what you said and a little of other stuff. It's as long as you are doing it honestly. Like, the problem with building a life on material things, there is something about a safety net. But if you don't have a life you want to fall back on, the money is not going to mean anything.
Right.
If you get to that top, have that money, and then turn on those people, then it was a plan all along, and what were you living for, And some people think, at least, that is their goal, It's like if someone came and asked you what you wanted, it'd be the difference between me saying to do great work that means something and as much as possible be consistently working, or saying money. And then if that person who was asking could give you either of those things, if your answer was money in the end, and they just gave you, $100 bill, okay, well, you asked for it, here's a tip, $100. You're like, well, no, I didn't mean, like, you have connections and you can get me to these places. Like, right. That's why staying true, I think, to yourself and your goals is a lot better than looking to see who else has those to get you there. As long as you're staying true to you with how you approach that, If you happen to sleep your way to the top because it's something you just connect with those people, And if it looks like that to other people, but it isn't, that's when taking your ego out of it, you can't care what other people think. Right. You have to live your life, right? But if you seek out those people to sleep your way to the top through them, it'll come crashing down eventually, is what I would think.
No, absolutely. And I was thinking, what about if my show says, I don't know, hypothetically, my show is on Fox News or whatever. What would I be doing in my free time? And I'm like, well, whatever I'm doing now. Go out to the mall. I would probably get an extra job. I have ADD, so I constantly have to be moving.
Yeah.
I used to watch wrestling like hours on end, and now I'm like, I can't see my finger tapping it. It's like I have to actually be doing something. If I like making videos, doing interviews, like, well, we have your own studio now, but the studio only runs Tuesday and Thursday. That's fine. I will find something else and keep myself busy.
Exactly, yeah.
It's basically it's just keeping yourself neutral. You have to be humbled. It's
yeah.
I don't know.
Because even if you're doing the most exciting top of the top thing, you have to be able to, at the same time, to come back to earth, come back to the basics. And that's why I said it the way I did when you have the choice to answer that question, whether it's about the work, for me, the creativity, the building. I love a rehearsal process, so I love putting something together and exploring it. And one might be in a massive, one might be on Broadway, and one might be in a small town with a small 100-seat theater, but if you have the ability to do that, I think it just makes you stronger and smarter. And hey, ADD can be a good thing because you just keep moving, you just keep working, right? And you're obviously doing something good with it. You're sending emails to people, doing interviews, figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I actually, like I said, I haven't done my interviews as of late, so I have my hesitation back because I've been preoccupied with the other stuff.
Right.
But actually, one more subject, and I'm gonna pass the show over to you, and then we can finish up.
Sure.
Who influenced you, going back to the first time we talked a year and a half ago? Who influenced you to become an actor? And where do you see yourself going? What is your expectation of yourself?
So who influenced me? I had a lot of influences. I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is a prairie city in Canada. And I went to a place called Rainbow Stage. It's an outdoor theater, but has a big dome on it. As a kid, I went there a lot. It's a 2,400-seat theater, so it was pretty amazing as a kid to watch all of those productions. And then I joined a couple music theater groups there. And I think, other than those, like I wasn't in New York, or I wasn't in Toronto, so I wasn't able to see like the mega musicals. But to me, what I knew was in Winnipeg, and seeing all those different productions is what motivated me to keep going. And my parents were extremely supportive. Nobody else in my family was very musical or into the arts. They loved it. There was always music playing in the household, and every variety of it, not one genre specifically. So I'm sure that was a part of it. But I would go around singing, and my parents realized that at a young age, so they started putting me into, along with the sports I was playing, putting me into theater. As far as expectations, I would love to make it big. I would love to go on a couple national tours and then sit down on Broadway, and then I'd love to get into more film and TV stuff. I have high expectations of myself, but at the same time, I keep those so that I have a constant drive to move forward. But at the same time, I'm finding the other side of it as well. And as it says in Kinky Boots, leave expectations at the door. If something doesn't happen right away, that's fine. I'm not going to give up just because something didn't go. So I hesitate to ever say, I'm going to be doing this. I say them to myself so that I have forward momentum and I know where to go. But if the path goes this way, or it could be like the plates, like I'd love to go straight up to here. But if it winds around to the plates, maybe goes back a little bit and then comes through and then goes up, that's my path, And some people, as soon as they have a job and they go to an audition and they don't get it, they come crumbling down because they were putting everything on that goal. And you can be upset for a little bit, but that doesn't serve you moving forward. That doesn't serve you helping. It's kind of like the same thing as your videos. You can be upset that you had to take them down, but it gave you a challenge to move forward. The challenge was, now what? Okay, so I get these things for people to sign, and then I can re-release them in orders of 2, and I can check in a year and a half later and develop the relationships and move forward from that. So I do have high expectations for myself and my career and family life, but how I get there and when I get there is pretty fluid.
No, absolutely. I was going to ask you 2 things about the plates. One, I do like the metaphor you did. It's kind of fitting for me. And also, I was going to say, it's why are you sitting underneath the table that's knocked sideways, and how are the plates even staying like that?
All right, so I'll get up and show you first. This is a project I've been working on. They're not done yet. Let's see if I can turn the camera around. I think I can. So, the light's in the way. That's what they look like.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I hung them on the wall, and then there's a little material over there. I hung them on the wall. You can see this one. Using these little plate hangers. So you wet them, and there's a glue adhesive, and then you stick them on the back, and then you just put a nail in the wall and hang them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to print, or I have a vinyl cutter. So I'm going to take black vinyl and cut out different patterns. Like one is of a finger pointing like this. And then one is, I think, a moose like with antlers. And there's one that's a clock. So I'm going to cut those out. And I think one's a silhouette of a woman and put them on the different plates. I'll probably leave a couple blank. But so it'll be this kind of almost like art piece, except it's 3D because they're physical plates that are actually should be eaten on.
Well, it looks really great.
Thanks. I like it. I just put them up about a week and a half ago, so it's brand new.
Actually, you gave me an idea. You mentioned about going on tour. Well, do you want to talk about this on the air, or you really don't care?
We can talk about it on the air.
You mentioned about going on tour, and it's funny you said mention that, because I was playing with the idea of taking my talk show live on the road. But like I said, if you're willing to work together, you help me, I help you, and, so going back to what you were doing, you're an actor, so, first off, how would you like to be? I'm looking for a guest host. I'm also looking for a studio. But do you know any good deals in Canada that I can get a studio? And how would you feel about trying out to be my guest host?
I don't know about good deals. It would depend on when you were coming in and visiting. Definitely guest hosting isn't something I ever planned on doing. But if you had the idea to kind of tour around and do guest hosts in different cities, and you're in Toronto, I would for sure guest host for an evening of live talk with some more well-known Canadian actors or other people you interview, because you interview other people other than actors too.
Yep,
right?
I interview actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, dancers. You name them, I got them.
I was hoping you were going to say wrestlers, because that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's not something, it's not what I would want to do to tour. I would love to tour a musical or a play, but absolutely guest hosting something in the city for some kind of event, that's kind of a neat idea.
What do you ever idea? So how would you go about it? So say you get like a tour bus and you go around the city to city and everything. Is that similar to the idea you have or what you're doing, or you just want to go to city and city and just perform?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly perform in one of the big shows, like Kinky Boots is on tour right now, so it would be amazing to be able to join that company, or of a new show when it goes. Some of the new shows that are out on Broadway, going out on their first national tours as they open there and become popular. Like, I think Hamilton's going out on tour. Matilda has I think it's a first tour. It might even be a second tour going out. So, in my dreams, I would love to be Justin Timberlake and play massive arenas and be a pop sensation. That would be fun. But as of now, that stuff's just on the side. I do more of the productions, which would be my idea of touring. It would be nice to sit somewhere for a month or so, but a lot of the tours are just doing 4-night kind of engagements in cities.
But would he be up for being like a road? If you're well, the idea is to actually off the air, but I'm just screw up, throw it out there. You mentioned all these different performances. Do you think people who you work for would be interested in when it may come on the show or come and meet people in person and introduce myself? Do you think they would be willing to work together, or?
Well, I think if you put together something where you were going around and interviewing different people, I think everybody's always open to, because it's good coverage for them, right? If you're coming into a show and meeting, I mean, it's in my life right now, so the only example I can think of is Kinky Boots. If you came in and over a 2-day period met with the Angels one day and the group of them, and then met with the leads or the factory workers, most media contacts for shows are always willing to open the doors to someone who's interested in doing some kind of, I don't think they would help organize necessarily. Right. If you went in and said, this is what I would like to do, and you had it laid out, then they would have, the more details you have ironed out, the harder it is to say no. They would let you in the door for sure. Yeah. Especially with your videos being reposted now, and they can look to see what you do, and just like I did when you wrote me, it's, oh, what is this about? Wow, that's a really great message you're trying to send, especially with people with learning disabilities and other disabilities. And I think the awareness around that is a great feature of the Keith Andrew Network.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, like I said, if you're willing to help me, I'm willing to help you. Fair is fair.
Well, exactly. If you ever plan it and you do come to Toronto, absolutely. If I'm doing a show, assuming I'm here, then I'm in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, wrapping up, was there anything you wanted to ask me? This is your time, after all.
I mean, I think we've had a pretty good discussion, sharing back and forth. No, I mean, I was trying to think of any pressing highlights that I could mention, but we've covered a vast array of stuff, and I think it's important for those watching to hear all of those things, be it when we talked about taking in both sides of stories,
right,
whether it's staying true to yourself as you try to climb the ladder in any industry, be it having a talk show and getting it somewhere else on the air or on Fox, like you said, or be it performing, or be it some of your CEOs and how they got there. I think one of the most important things, and it's one of the big messages in Kinky Boots, is staying true to yourself and being who you want to be, and not letting other people define that. And you can go as strong as you'd like, and there will be twists and turns and ebbs and flows, but eventually, if you keep going, you will get there. So I think it's one of my favorite things to live by right now.
No, absolutely. I do have one more idea for you. It's about to save it off the air. Wrapping up the interview segment, sir, any way your fans can follow you on social media? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, Stage32?
I am on Facebook. I am on all of it. You can find me. I have a website, which is justinstadnyk.ca. And my Twitter and Instagram handles are j_Stadnyk. And they can find me there.
Well, wrapping up the interview segment, I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show once again.
All right. Thanks for having me.